Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna be reacting to
Greek mythology's greatest warrior, Isolde Gillespie? I don't know. Never heard of this name, have you?
no.
Let's see.
Achilles was a demigod destined for greatness. He was born to a sea nymph and a king. And like the legendary Heracles before him, he was trained by the centaur Chiron in hunting,
higher for
music, and medicine. Meanwhile, his closest companion since boyhood was Patroclus, a mortal with no divine parentage or lofty prophecies tied to his name. Despite these differences, the two loved one another unconditionally. But when Greece declared war on Troy, Achilles was called upon as a crucial weapon. Helen, the wife of a Greek king, had vanished to Troy with Paris, a Trojan prince. An army of Greeks assembled,
Ooh.
determined to retrieve her. And as war loomed, the gods themselves took sides and argued over the mortals' fates. Achilles knew the war was written into his destiny. And with horses born from the west wind and a spear wrought from a mountain peak, he readied himself. But he wouldn't be alone. Patroclus was by his side. They say
Okay, hold up.
I think Isolde is not the
I
hero.
think Isolde is the narrator or something.
Yeah.
Cause first of all, the name don't look Greek, and this is about Achilles, not dig into the Greek myth of Achilles. Yeah, I think lesson by Isolde. Okay, Isolde is the
Wow, you
narrator.
just turned the person into a warrior. Like, oh, thank you. Thank
I
you.
thought because the name don't look Greek, so I was like, okay, I guess.
I never heard any of the heroes having first and last name.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Yeah. I didn't even think about that, but that's a good point. Anyway, so this is about Achilles. Cool.
sailed to Troy along with 1,186 ships and surged into battle. The Trojans were led by the
I fully expect to learn why Achilles tendon is called Achilles tendon after him. If I don't get to learn that in this video, that's a bad video.
formidable Prince Hector, brother of Paris and son of King Priam. But they were no match for Achilles, who held the upper hand for the Greeks with his striking skill. Some said Achilles was invincible because his mother dipped him into the Styx. Others said that she bathed him in ambrosia, the nectar of immortality. Despite his talent, the war wore on for 9 years, and internal conflicts crystallized. Early on, Achilles took a woman named Briseis captive, but the Greek army's leader, King Agamemnon, had grown jealous of Achilles and seized Briseis for himself. Incensed, Achilles went on strike, and the situation became dire without him. Patroclus witnessed the carnage firsthand, but still Achilles refused to fight. Panicked at the sight of the Trojans entering the Greek encampment, Patroclus urged Achilles to lend him his armor. The sight of Achilles alone, he argued, would drive
I wonder if this is like a true war or this is just, I guess mythology, or it's never, if it really happened or it's just, a cool story to tell at the, like a campfire.
the Trojans back. Achilles agreed, provided Patroclus avoid the gates of Troy, from which the god Apollo protected the city. Suiting Patroclus in the armor, Achilles prayed for his safe return. Leading a swarm of Greeks, the disguised Patroclus drove the Trojans away, and for a few precious moments, he felt as untouchable as Achilles himself. He hurtled towards Troy until Apollo struck him down, knocking away his armor. Hector seized the opportunity, claiming Patroclus' life and Achilles' armor. Overcome by guilt and grief, Achilles vowed not to bury his beloved until he was avenged. He threw himself into battle, leaving a trail of bodies in his wake. Soon, all Trojans had fled or perished. All but Hector, clad in the armor that had failed to protect Patroclus. Their spears clashed, but Achilles knew the armor's weak spot. With a deadly strike, he took his revenge. And yet, his grief and fury weren't satisfied.
So that's why it's Achilles tendon. That's where he hit. That's the weak spot.
His revenge.
No, this looks like
And
the
yet-
throat. Achilles is in the foot.
I thought that was the weak spot. He hit him in the Achilles
I
tendon.
think he got him in the throat here. Look.
The armor's weak spot. With a deadly strike, he took his
Oh
revenge.
yeah, it wasn't
And
the
yet,
throat.
his grief and fury weren't satisfied. Achilles seized Hector's body. Denying him burial was a heinous offense, but nothing felt sacred anymore. He dragged the body behind his chariot, jeering at the Trojans all the
Yikes.
while. At night, the ghost of Patroclus appeared to Achilles, warning that his death was imminent and asking that their bones be laid to rest together. Achilles agreed and tried to embrace him, but the apparition disappeared. Meanwhile, Priam, the Trojan king, was also tormented by grief. He finally resolved to go to Achilles and ask him for mercy. He kissed the hands that killed his son and offered payment for Hector's body. Together they wept and shared a meal. Achilles returned Hector's corpse, praying to Patroclus for forgiveness. And with little left to lose, he returned to battle, defeating even the most skilled warriors. But just as Patroclus had predicted, Achilles wouldn't live long. Paris struck his heel with an arrow that some say was guided by Apollo.
There
The
you
remains of
go.
Achilles and Patroclus were mingled for eternity.
That's why it's called Achilles.
Mhm.
That's where the arrow hit. Okay, cool.
And the Greeks went on to win the war. But in the course of battle, each side lost some of the greatest heroes of their time, their zeal turning into heartbreak, even as their stories hardened into legend. But did ancient Troy ever actually exist? For a while, there was no sign of it. Find out what archaeologists finally discovered
That's
with this video, or
interesting.
hear a story
'Cause
of it.
I wonder where these stories come from. If they do not exist.
I think, at that time, people, they, didn't have knowledge. They couldn't explain certain things, so they, came up with the stories to explain those things. And, that's with all these mythological, religious, whatever stories they come from the stuff that they couldn't explain, but they, in their mind, they tried to come up with ways to explain it, how it happened, how it came to be. So I think, I think there is, a little bit of truth in there, but there's a lot of exaggeration in those stories.
I think this was like a quick synopsis of Achilles. Like, I was not too impressed with this story of Achilles compared to the other heroes
I was
that
very
they have.
impressed because my goal
You
was to
think
learn
so?
about why it's called
Oh.
Achilles tendon. That's why. So I learned that that was my goal. So I'm very impressed. Yeah. I mean, he was a semi-mortal, right? So he died. He wasn't a god. So what you wanted him to
I don't know. I feel
survive?
like his development story was kind of like he's like, oh, I didn't want to be by myself, so I'm gonna take a hostage.
No, he didn't want to be by himself, so he wanted to avenge the death of his lover. That's like the iconic story.
I don't think it was mutual. I don't think she had a choice to leave
What do you mean?
his lover
What do you mean choice to leave?
because he took her as hostage,
No.
and then
Wait, what? First of all, is it she? I thought it was the guy. I thought he was in love with another guy.
it was he. It was it was she. Look at the beginning. Look.
Oh, I'm confused. I thought it was another guy.
You know, he
I thought it
took
was
a
another
lady
warrior.
as hostage. No, and then someone took her, and then he went to go fight to get her back, but she died.
I thought she died at war.
Is she fighting?
I thought it was a guy, and then
No,
he
go
died
back,
at
go
war.
back, go
Where?
back. In the beginning, where he said he took. Go back. Retrieve. Yeah, he's determined. Yeah.
Greeks assembled, determined to retrieve her.
Huh.
And as war loomed, the gods themselves took sides and argued over the mortals' fates.
Yeah.
Achilles knew
'Cause
the
they
war
took
was written
her.
into his destiny.
But honestly, I feel like she left. She went with them.
I
She didn't
thought,
wanna be with them
I thought he was
first.
in love with another guy.
No, it was her. If you go back, they said he took her as hostage,
I did see that. I saw that.
and then they say they took her. She left. You see, Achilles took a woman named Bessas as captive.
Yeah, but Achilles took it.
And then the other person got jealous and took her. And he's like, oh, you're going to take my girl?
Oh.
So he went to go get his girl back, but I think she left, honestly. Go to the comments. Let me see. Next time, I just tell you the story myself. I like my version
I thought he
better.
was in love with Patroclus.
No,
That's what I got.
no. He's the one that took his lady. His Mrs. Steele girl.
Confusing. You're confusing me now.
It's like telenovela, honestly.
It honestly is giving tele,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. I feel like there's some, some truth to it. So probably
Yeah.
somebody's lady got taken or whatever, and they came up with this whole
And
story.
he went and go fight and killed all the bodies except Patroclus.
Anyway, in the darkness, two shadows reaching through our hopeless heavy dusk. Their hands being, what is this now? Can you just take a minute to appreciate this animation? The
Yeah,
animation
that was
cool.
really
The animation was
cool. That's a lot of effort.
Fun fact, Achilles being invulnerable was a later addition to the story. In the original, he was just simply really good at fighting.
I think that's what it was
Oh.
too.
I mean, it makes
Mhm.
sense. He was really good at
Yeah.
fighting, so nobody could kill him. Really like this one. Achilles going on a homicidal rampage over Patroclus' death. Yeah, that's what I understood
No,
too.
his friend. That's his friend.
That's-
Cause
so
his
that's
friend.
why he
Cause
done the
listen, he
rampage.
said
That's what I
no
was
because
saying.
okay, they took his girl, but then he was so sad about that too. So his friend said, "Okay, let me go fight. Give me your gear, and I go fight." So he
Right,
gave
but
him the
then
gear to
the
go
the
fight,
whole end, he
and
gonna
they
give
killed
his-
his friend. And he said, "Oh,
Right.
you killed my friend." Now he decided to go fight,
So that's what I was saying.
but he didn't want to go fight for his lover.
Oh, is that the lover?
Anywho.
I don't know if that was the lover.
That's what I'm saying.
I was saying about Patroclus. I got like the
That
kind
was his
of.
friend that died.
I got that was more than a friend.
I think so too because honestly, he
That
cared
that
more
gave
for
me
his friend
that.
than
So that's
his,
what I was
his lover.
saying.
Oh.
It gave me more than a friend, and he went to fight for her.
Mhm.
That was his lover. He went to fight for him.
Mm-hmm.
You confused me. I thought I understood the story. Then you confused
Well, you
me.
add
But
me
now
to the
I'm
plot.
back.
Okay.
I'm back understanding the story.
Hey guys,
Okay.
of course, let us know your thoughts. Everything like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord, and as always, share as much kindness as possible.